Yo, what's going on, man? Today is March the 13th, 2023. It's your boy Chris, and this is the ChrisBeCappinn NBA show where I am live on Twitter, also live on YouTube as well, man. Y'all do me a favor as you have joined. Hit the like button for me if you can. Definitely helps with the algorithm. Share the show. Follow me on Twitter if you guys are checking me out on YouTube and vice versa. Link for all my official plays are in the description. And the promo to the Oz Jam promo is in the description as well if you guys want the link and to check out Oz Jam. So we got a packed card for today. I wasn't able to do a morning show this morning. Just got a little busy, had some things come up. But we're just gonna jump right into it. Coming off an 0-1 day yesterday, only play I had was the Bucks, and they did not show up, man. They could have just went back to Milwaukee instead of showing up in the Sacramento last night. Sacramento absolutely smoked those boys, and I honestly didn't see it going that way. But like I said, it was a smaller play. I didn't go too crazy on it, but it is a loss. So looking to get back on track. We had 4 winning plays in a row before then. Hopefully we can keep that going today. So a couple plays that I made. I got a couple plays that's on the short list and a couple props that I haven't locked in as well. But I did do the prop cast with my guy Munoz and got some prop looks for you guys today as well. So like I said, hit the like button for me and let's jump right into it, man. First game up, and I just want to check and make sure the lines are accurate. First game up, we got the Raptors. They will be in Detroit today, getting 3. This line was, let me just double check it real quick and make sure it's still 3.5. Wow, I see some lines opening up for tomorrow, so we want to get into those games too. This line actually opened at 2 and it's up to 3.5. Of course, injury news in this one is paramount that we talk about. We got to talk about the injury news, and I think that does affect the injury report. And I'll tell you guys what I think. I actually think that this will be a spot where the guys and I'm just speculating. I just think it's a spot where Detroit wins because Toronto. I don't think Toronto is going to take this game serious. I was actually looking at the beat reporter list, and I saw that one of the Memphis Grizzlies beat reporters retweeted a tweet from one of the Toronto Raptors beat reporters. And he was pretty much saying that they were going to take this game away to get to make sure they protect their 6th overall pick or whatever their 6th pick that they do have. And I think that could play in this game. Just if those guys get rolled out, as you see it move to 4 in the 4, like the 3.5. So remember, they opened at 2. It's up to 3.5. Now you see it at 4. If this line goes, I think it could potentially close at 5. So real quick on the injury news, quickly, and Gary Trent Jr. both listed as questionable. RJ Barrett is going to be out for personal reasons. Chris Boucher and Jakob Poeltl also already listed as out. I really want to get there with the over. You get Toronto team first game back on the East Coast after a three-game West Coast road trip. Last game of a 4-game road trip as well. They've actually dropped all 4 games to just 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 games. On the Detroit side, Asir Thompson he was listed as questionable. He did get ruled out already. This is the 4th straight home game. They got 2 more left after this. So you get Detroit in a pretty good spot. They've actually won 2 of their last 3 and covered 3 of their last 4. This line is moving. It'd be crazy to lay 4 points with Detroit. Like if you want Detroit, I typically want to take them in a pick just because their defense can be so bad at times. But in Toronto, we saw what they could. They can score, right? Like they can still score. They can still push the pace. Like I said, I really want to get there with the over. I actually had it on my short list, but didn't quite play it yet. That's the way I kind of look at this one. I think, Toronto defensively, bottom 10 in opponent points per game, per 100 possessions over the last 10 games, opponent effective field goal percentage. They're giving up the 2nd most offensive rebounds during that time frame as well. And Detroit has actually been better in each defensive category outside of keeping teams off the free throw line in the last 10 games as well. So Toronto also just 10-23 straight up on the road, even though they are 4-1 against the spread on the road after the All-Star break. So I think I had wrote this down yesterday. I think, got to look at Detroit in this spot. I think this is a game that the Rockets, I think this is a game that the Raptors actually tank away. And I think they gift wrap this game for Detroit. As far as player props, and like I said, if everybody does play, I do like the over. But as far as player props in this game, I think you got to look at Cade Cunningham. I went through and looked at some of the advanced metrics, and he has a very, very clear advantage in the mid-range, short mid-range, long mid-range is typically where he shoots a ton of shots. And this Detroit team is this Raptors team is pretty much the worst team over the last 10 games against the mid-range shot. So Cade's also cashed, I think, in like 8 of the last 10 games since the All-Star break and something like 5 of his last 6. Numbers 22.5. The best line I saw was minus 110 on BetMGM. So Cade Cunningham, I like him a lot. I think this is a Durham rebound spot. I just kind of talked a little bit about his prop and the Toronto team being a really bad rebounding team without Jakob Poeltl. So he should be able to dominate this matchup, and it makes for a really good spot for Detroit. So Detroit is the only way I would play it. Do I want to lay 4? Absolutely not. I do think that Detroit is the right side in this game, though. Let's go through the comments real quick and see what you guys are saying about this one. I already see a hell no from Tasha. What's up, Tasha? What up, LJ? Brian says, let's get this money. What's up, Will? He says, what up, though, Chris? He said, oh, I forgot to mention this. I saw this tweeted when I woke up this morning and I was looking at the beat reporter list. It is 313 day in Detroit. That's the area code up there. I appreciate you for shouting this out, Will. I know you're in the 313. Appreciate you for shouting this out. He says it's a tradition we've been celebrating for a few years now with the pride the Pistons been playing with in the Raptors' current state. So he said he couldn't pass. It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Detroit is the way I would look as well. But like I said, I think the pivot would be towards Cade points. Fear Elite, what's going on, my brother? Appreciate you for tapping in. What's up, LJ? Real Stony, my God. What up, Daniel? He says, yo. Beautiful day to get some cash. What up, Prolific? He says, like it up, people. JT in here. The usual suspects, man. Appreciate you for tapping in. What's up, DJ? S. Dot. He says, yo, what up, Chris? Yo, finally called a live show. I got hit with all kind of strays today on the eventual Heat win. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know if the Heat winning tonight as that, but we'll get there. Real Stoney says, K23 seems extremely automatic. With that news, Will, I said I've been on them all day, even before knowing about the 313 day. Tasha says, hell no. She says she thinks that Toronto wins. I don't think Toronto wants to win, Tasha. You got to look a little deeper sometimes. I don't think they want to win. I could be wrong. LJ says he likes Durham over 11.5 rebounds. Toronto is allowing last sentence to average 10.5 rebounds, and we know that Durham is a man-child. I agree. Fear Elite also says Durham been smashing the boards lately, so I'm liking 10+ rebounds. Plus his matchup may be Olynyk. Yeah, he could kill Olynyk tonight. Olynyk could also kill him, though. I don't know if y'all saw Olynyk. The Raptors, one thing you know about Detroit, they give up a ton of points in the paint. Jalen Duren's a great rebounder. He's not a great defender. Just young, raw, athletic, but he can be taken advantage of. Olynyk actually went to work against Jokic in that last game. Daniel says, I got a nice query. I've been running for a month now. Road Dogs playing their last game of a 4-game road trip. They're 10-22 to the under. This trend is 2-18 to the under since December the 1st versus conference opponents. Wow. I appreciate you sharing that, Daniel. That gives me a little hesitancy on the over. And I don't like it if those guys aren't ruled in. So this is something I was going to wait to play, but it will be either over for me in this game or I'll be looking at Cade to go over his points. What's up, Tariq? Russell says, I took the Raps plus the points, Chris. Go Young DJ says, how many times has Detroit been favored this season? Detroit, I want to say this is their 5th game being a favorite, 6th game being a favorite. They were favorites last game against the Nets, right? Let's look at that real quick. Because I know they were 1-4. 1-4, I think they were. So yeah, I'm right. 2-4 straight up, 2-4 against the spread. They're also 6-0 to the under are the Detroit Pistons when they are favored this season. So some more hesitancy towards the under. We just looked at this spot though the other day when they were playing against the Brooklyn Nets. Real Stoney says Olynyk been hot per his standards. And Malik says, once I hear from Dream, I'm in on Detroit. Shout out to my guy Dream as well. Fear Elite says, plus Duren scores with scares me with foul trouble when he gets in. That's a fact. Yeah, they definitely are. Okay. And Futon says Pistons money line. Not a lot of value there, but if you want to put it with something, best of luck. No way I could do that. Not trusting them to be land to put them on any kind of money line parlay with the Pistons, unless I'm going super light. Let's keep it pushing. Next game up, we got Nets and we got Magic. So I sent this one out earlier to the YouTube. I actually sent this out last night. I jumped on the Magic. This line is back down to 6.5. It went up to 7. It opened at 6.5 yesterday. I thought the line was probably right on par. So Cam Johnson, I think, is back. Of course, no Ben Simmons. Cam Thomas is going to be out there as well. But the big story in this one is Orlando for me. I think it's a spot where Orlando has to step up. So looking at the Brooklyn Nets is the 4th straight road game of a 6-game road trip. This team is just 10-21 straight up on the road, just 11-19 against the spread on the road. They're the 9th least profitable team on the season on the road. And they're 30, 34, and 1, which is only 49%. They're also the second least profitable team on the road. 11, 19, and 1 is only 36.7%. And the reason why I like Orlando in this spot is because they get Jalen Suggs and Markelle Fultz are both off the injury report. And if we remember, Orlando's been playing that cupcake schedule. They also, had a couple games without Suggs and without Fultz. I was on the Orlando Magic when they were in New York and scored like 16 points a couple games ago. So that was a game that Suggs got ruled out late. And Orlando is a team that can struggle to score the ball. However, 2 days rest off back-to-back losses, back-to-back non-covers. They're actually the most profitable team in the NBA, 42, 22, and 1, 65%. They're actually the third most profitable home team as well, 21 and 9 against the spread, is 70% at home. They're also 20 and 4 straight up and against the spread versus teams with a 45% win percentage or less, with a 10-point margin in those games. They're 10 and 0 straight up, 9 and 1 against the spread when they're at home versus those teams with an 18-point margin. And I looked at this as well. When Orlando has been a favorite of 6 points or more at home, they're actually 8-0 straight up, 7 and 1 against the spread, 18-point margin there as well. Looking at the head-to-head matchup, Orlando, I remember these earlier this season. Orlando went to Brooklyn, I think, for both of the first 2 games, and they got smoked. But Orlando was at the rest disadvantage at both. Orlando has not been a good team when they're at the rest disadvantage and they're playing on no days rest. But looking at them off 2 days rest, they absolutely haven't been good either. But I just think that, looking at the spot for them, like I said, 2 days rest versus none. I'm sorry, 2 days rest for them and off 2 straight losses. I think it's an Orlando spot. The only thing that worries me is they turn the ball over like a lot. And Brooklyn will have to get really, really hot from 3, which I don't think that they will. I think Orlando defense is due for some positive regression from the 3-point line. So as long as Brooklyn doesn't turn the ball over, long as Orlando doesn't turn the ball over, they're doing that at the second highest rate after the All-Star break. Brooklyn also capitalizing off of that. I think that they should be able to stifle Brooklyn, which really just wants to shoot a bunch of threes. We know that they live and die by the 3, corner 3, above the break 3. And I think Orlando's the right side in this game. So I would still play it. Of course, it's down to 6.5. I would still play it. And I think Orlando getting Jalen Suggs and Markelle Fultz back, I think, is the biggest piece. And I just like backing really good teams off back-to-back losses. And they've had a couple days to practice. I don't like that Jamal Mosley just got a contract extension, because typically teams kind of, don't play as well for whatever reason. Steve Kerr got a contract extension after Golden State was like 8-2, and he hasn't looked good, recently. Steph Curry also, he wasn't looking good before Steph Curry rolled his ankle because they lost to the Bulls. But it's an Orlando spot for me. I felt real confident in this one. I didn't go super heavy on it though, but it is an Orlando spot for me. I like Orlando in this game. Let's see what you guys are on here. Oh, also the last game that was played between the Nets and Orlando was the game where Coach Kevin Ollie had got his first win the night before. If you guys remember that, Kevin Ollie had just got his first win against the Memphis Grizzlies, and they got absolutely smoked in that next game. And I kind of called it the night before. It was when I was doing night shows. I said that they were going to celebrate that and probably get smoked by the Orlando Magic, and they did. And I think that happens again here. So that's the play I like in this game. Let's see what you guys are on here. Kenneth says, I'm late, but let's get it. Let's get some cash. Absolutely. Russ says he likes the Magic second quarter money line. Bhutan says Wendell Carter Jr. under 8.5 rebounds. Crosby says, Kenneth says he likes the Nets first quarter team total under 25.5. I actually like that. I like that a lot. I think they're really going to struggle, and Orlando is going to come out. Orlando team total first quarter under 25.5. I don't think that they get to 25 points either. I really, really don't, Kenneth. I like that look a lot. I'm going to write your name down in case I do tell. Shout you out if I do cash on that with you. I definitely wrote that one down. Stoney says Magic first half up to -7.5. No way. No way their first half 7.5. The full spread 7.5. Roger likes Magic and Pelicans on the money line at +100 on DK. I couldn't talk you off of that. Gene says Suggs threes. Yes, sir. Yeah, the Brooklyn Nets have actually been struggling against the 3-point line as well. Winning at the end of every quarter for the Magic. Okay. Chad likes Bruce Brown over 20.5 points, rebounds, and assists. We haven't gotten there yet. Let's see. Russell says Nets are going to shoot some bricks. I would agree. Real Stoney says brick and mortar. Vaughn says, I think this is I think this is kind of a next step game. I think they have to win these winnable games, especially at home. More of a taking care of business when you're supposed to kind of game. Give me Orlando first half. That makes a lot of sense here, Vaughn. I just think the defense will be too much. Orlando is a team that's top 5 in defensive rating. Those are the teams that I like betting on, specifically after the All-Star break, specifically when they're at home and off a couple losses because I know that they'll be motivated. Orlando is the third in the third quarter is one of my favorite spots in most of their games. Estai likes Magic first half and full game. What's up, Cap Reacts? Appreciate you for tapping in. He says, what's up, Chris? What's up with Suggs assists? It's not something that I looked into at all, Cap. I didn't look into player props at all in this one. Maybe Jalen Suggs threes is something that I would look at. He's been shooting a ton. It feels like when he has been playing, I could see that. But yeah, I just think that Brooklyn will. I think Orlando will be able to score as long as they don't turn the ball over, and as long as Brooklyn doesn't get hot from three. Real Stoney says, "I'm saying I'm back in the Magic up to 7.5 spread in the first half." My bad. Okay, got you. All right, cool. Let's keep it pushing. Next game up, we have. Let's see what I got next for you guys. Next, we got the Bulls and the Pacers, man. Really, really difficult game to handicap. This line actually was at 3.5 last night, and if the total was at 233, the total has come down and the spread has gone up in favor of the Pacers. I really wanted to back the Bulls, if I'm being honest with you guys, but the Bulls have looked really, really bad. They are 18-15 against the spread on the road, off 2 straight up losses and 2 non-covers. Their offense has really failed them in the last couple games, scoring just 92 points against Dallas, 102 against the Clippers in their last 2 games. It's also the first leg of a back-to-back with the Clippers tomorrow. I could see a situation where, even though the Indiana Pacers have been so bad on the second leg of back-to-backs, I could see a spot where the Bulls they lose today, but they end up covering tomorrow. The Clippers, I already looked ahead. The Clippers are not in a good spot tomorrow. The Clippers will come to Chicago. I mentioned Chicago being on the first leg of a back-to-back. The Clippers will come to Chicago tomorrow, but they got a game against the Pelicans on the next day. So the Clippers will be in a back-to-back tomorrow. Not the greatest spot for the Clippers tomorrow. So I think the Bulls could potentially cover that game at home. The Pacers have not been good. Like I said, they have been good, but they haven't been good in this spot. Back-to-back wins against OKC and Orlando. We actually backed them against Orlando on Sunday. Stayed off of them last night. Second leg of a back-to-back, of course, is also a third game in 4 nights. On the season, they're just 2-9 straight up and against the spread on the second leg of back-to-backs. They're -8 in point differential. Still effective offensively, but they turn the ball over at a high rate. They struggle defensively, ranking just 28th in opponent point score per 100 possessions and 30th in opponent effective field goal percentage. They're also fouling at the second highest rate. And they're just 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 as home favorites. 0-3 straight up and against the spread as a home favorite when they're unrested this season. So the spot screams Bulls, but I couldn't quite get there because it's just been bad, man. Numbers favor Indiana in rim frequency versus Chicago's defense. Mid-range, where Chicago shoots, what their defense struggle, and they rank 22nd in mid-range accuracy. And then Indiana also has played the more difficult schedule over the last 5 games. Like I said, spots say Chicago. Numbers actually say Pacers. With the eye test says the Pacers should be able to, win this game and cover this short spread. I didn't know what to do with this one. I did really want to get there with the under. I do think that, looking at the Pacers defense, they've been playing a lot better recently. But like I said, those defensive numbers on the road, on the second leg of back-to-backs, ranking 28th in opponent points scored per 100 possessions, that's not cool. So I couldn't quite get there with the under. Bulls have really struggled to score, and I do still think it's going to be an under game, but not enough for me to, get involved in this one at all. Pacers and Bulls do lean under, and if I had to play it, I think the Pacers can win this game by 4 points. I really, really do. Even though I want to take the points with the Bulls. So real difficult game to handicap. I didn't get there with anything here. Let's see what you guys are thinking in the comments. Gene says Halliburton threes, but I'm shaky about it. You shouldn't really be that shaky. I'll look into some numbers real quick. I want to say that the Pacers defense, I know that the Bulls, and this is another thing that kind of scared me off the under. The Bulls play fake hustle defense, in my opinion. I'm not a fan of the Bulls defense. I think that it's a tad bit underrated. And I think that they just play slow. I don't think that the Bulls are the greatest defense. The numbers say that the Bulls aren't a great defensive team at all. On the season, they are well, after the All-Star break, they're giving up the third most points scored per 100 possessions. They ranked 27th, the 25th in opponent effective field goal percentage, 27th in opponent offensive rebound rate. So they're giving up a ton of offensive rebounds, and Indy can absolutely kill them in that spot. So yeah, I don't know, man. Chicago's defense is not great. Indiana's defense, of course, also is not great, even though they've been playing a little bit better defense here. LJ says he locked in the 3.5 with the Pacers. He says they're 10-2 against the spread in the division, which is number 1 in the NBA. Okay, I know that they lost the first game because I was on. I remember doing a show with Jay Money back when the season was early, and I bet the Pacers in that game. I always remember the spots. I bet the Pacers in that game, and they lost to the Bulls. And then they got their revenge. They did smoke the Bulls in the last game. I didn't mention that, but they did smoke the Bulls in the last game. What's up, Light Bear? Light Bear. Appreciate you for tapping in. Malik says he played Caruso 2 steals at plus 105. DeMar points, rebounds, and assists looks good as well. LJ says he likes Halliburton over 10.5 assists, but Bulls allowing last 6 point guards to average 10.5. That's the play. I think, when you think about the Bulls, they typically trap point guards, get the ball out of their hands, and, kick it to somebody else and make them make the play. So that makes a lot of sense here, LJ. Maybe Halliburton doesn't do too much scoring, but I could definitely see him getting others involved. Miles Turner's been killing too. He played really, really good last night. Kenneth says missed the under last night, but it still might go under. Bulls always go on a 5-minute scoring drought, and this is a fact. It might be 2 of them, Kenneth. That's one reason why I don't like betting the Bulls, man, because their offense can really falter, and sometimes it don't come back. In the last 2 games, it has not come back. Against the Clippers the other day, they were outscored by 40 points in the second half, only scoring, I think, 20. They scored 37 points, maybe 40. Outscored 60-something to 40-something in the second half, and the same thing happened with the Dallas Mavericks as well. That offense is really bad, man. Futon likes Miles Turner over 1.5 threes. Vaughn says I like the Bulls to play better in sort of a kind of bounce back spot after they look so bad than last game versus the Mavs. Don't like it enough to play them though, and that's kind of how I feel as well. Vaughn also says hard to like the Pacers. Holly hasn't looked like himself since coming back from the injury. Well, maybe look at his assists, always willing to take guards assists versus the Bulls and how they play defense versus the pick and roll. I would agree there. And Vucevic over 2.5 assists for full-time bets. I feel like we did enough on this one. Like I said, only way I'm playing it is under. And I probably would lay the small number with the Indiana Pacers, but it's not anything I feel super confident on. Let's keep pushing. Next game up, probably the game of the day. We got the Denver Nuggets. Well, one of the games of the day. We got the Denver Nuggets taking on the Miami Heat. Want to just check and make sure I got the line right for you guys. This line's actually back down to 3.5, even though you see 4.5 on the screen. Emmanuel quickly is going to play. Gary Trent Jr. listed as doubtful. I think that's enough to get this one up and over the total. I know Gary Trent Jr. is a really good scorer. He is somebody that's going to help push the pace and knock down some 3-pointers. But if Emmanuel quickly is in, I think that's enough. I really, really think that's enough. And it looks like he is going to play to get this one up and over the total. So I'll see what happens with the total. It shouldn't go up too much just because quickly gets ruled in. But yeah, that's the way I'm looking, is up and over to 232. I see a 230. Yeah, 232.5 looks like is the best number right now. So that's already on my short list. But let's get into this game with the Denver Nuggets and the Miami Heat. So line actually opened at 3 yesterday afternoon, maybe an hour before this time. When I was looking into this, Denver, and the total was at 217.5. It actually went down to about 212, 213, and now I see it come all the way back up to 217. Denver is on a roll, man. It's really hard to bet against the team. 18-14 straight up, and 13, 18, and 1 against the spread on the road. But they are 7-3 against the spread in their last 10. First game on the road after 4 straight home games. They are 3-0 straight up and against the spread on the road this season, and they've been just smoking teams since the All-Star break. I tweeted out something yesterday kind of showing, how teams have done since the All-Star break. And Denver's one of those teams, man. If they've been playing against good teams, they've been smoking them. They did it to the Lakers. They did it to the Golden State Warriors. I think they got the Kings back. They're taking these games very, very serious, as Chris Middleton is ruled out for that game tomorrow against the Philadelphia 76ers. And you look at Miami, they haven't been great. They've lost 3 straight, just 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games. Offensively, they really struggled. They scored 108 points against the Washington Wizards, only 100 against OKC, and 108 against Dallas. Denver, of course, beat them in the finals last season. They beat them in Denver by 6 earlier this season. And like I said, Denver, they own the Miami Heat, kind of like the Lakers. They're 9-1 straight up, 7-3 against the spread versus Miami in the last 10 head-to-head matchups. They're also 7-2 straight up and 5-3-1 against the spread versus teams that they've beaten already at home that have a chance to revenge losses. So it's not a great spot for Miami. I'll just say that. I know it's a super short number. 3.5, you need them to win by 4 points. Denver do have this thing where they win by 2 points and not cover the number at times, but with such a short spread, I think I'd only be looking towards Denver, understanding that this is a really, really good spot for Miami, especially off a double-digit home loss, back-to-back losses as well. Probably have this one circle. I'm just not sure. I'm not willing to bet against Denver. That's really what it comes down to. So if I had to play it, I'd be landing 3.5 with Denver, and I'd probably be looking towards the under. Or maybe even a Denver team total to go over. I just don't know how much Miami is going to contribute. I think Miami could really, really struggle offensively in this game. So those are my thoughts. Denver, can really turn up defensively. Not a game that I'm going to play, though. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat about this one. Gene likes Jovic threes. Real Stoney says Pacers team total over 28.5. Third quarter at -164. And just looking to see if the lines are changing. Kenneth says, want to bet the Heat, but can't pull the trigger right now. Heat start slow, catch a better number live. No way I could talk you off of that, Kenneth. I do think this is going to be a pretty closely competitive game. Real Stoney says McConnell should get at least 5 assists in this matchup. Thinking about that last game. SoCal Ball Nerd says KCP over 1.5 threes. He's a spot up shooting guard against the Miami in this matchup. I think this is a really good look, SoCal. He says attempts should be there. When KCP gets 5 attempts, he's cleared his number 18 of 21 times. That's a really high percentage. I could get behind KCP over his 1.5 threes. Could absolutely get there. Like this look a lot, SoCal. I hope you cash it. He also says 122 watching, 32 likes, man. Let's smash that like button before I do. Appreciate that. If you guys get the like button, it definitely helps the algorithm, gets more people in the show. And it's much appreciated, man. Thank you. Appreciate you for shouting that out, SoCal. Let's see. What else? What up? Okay, watch this. LJ says he's on the Heat first half here, +1. He says Denver is the worst team against the spread in the second quarter on the road. So when Jokic goes to the bench, Heat should keep it close in the first half, but I'm on Denver -3.5 for the full game. So I can see this making a ton of sense, man. It seems like Denver kind of circle all these games that are supposed to be big games for other teams. They beat the Lakers, of course, on Kobe statue revealing night. They beat the Lakers on the game where Bron, scored 40,000 points. They go into Golden State and get big wins. They go into OKC. They beat them in OKC. So for some reason, it's almost like they send a message in these games. So that's the only way I would look as well. BBP Sports. I meant to shout you out. I saw you left me a $5 tip in the last one. I didn't shout you out for that because I actually didn't see it. So I definitely appreciate that $5 donation, my brother. He says Nuggets want the number 1 seed. If they win tonight, they move ahead of OKC, who lost last night. Denver money line. Okay, you land a nice little price for it, but this makes a lot of sense. I also had this written down in my notes. I talked about this earlier when I did the Propcast on a different show, but yeah, they are 44 and 22. I think is they're tied now. So Nuggets will have the number 1 seed, and if you guys don't know, I said this a couple games ago, but the Nuggets are really they really want the number 1 seed. Mike Malone was lying a couple weeks ago when he said they didn't. They want it so bad that they actually rescheduled going to the White House. The winning team typically goes to the White House. They said, no. We got a game against the Timberwolves the next day. We can't go. They really want that number 1 seed. So it'd be Denver or nothing for me in this spot. Makes a lot of sense. Let's see. Tyler says people doing mental gymnastics with the spot for Miami. Nuggets are a far better team, and you're only laying 3.5. Yeah, but the Nuggets, even in these small points range, Tyler, they have not been super profitable on the road. Matter of fact, I'm gonna show you what the numbers look like real quick with the Nuggets laying 4 points or less. The Nuggets are just 7-4 straight up. So they've lost 4 out of the 11 games straight up when they've been on the road in this spot. And they're just 6-5 against the number. So, they cover, don't cover, don't cover in this spot. Only 54% when they're laying less than 4 points on the road, which is the spot that you get them in here today. So, yeah, this number, I know it might sound like it's supposed to be easy to, for them to win. I'm not saying that they don't. That's the way I would play it too, but I think it's a little bit more difficult than that. Douglas says Heat Nuggets last game was relatively close going to the fourth quarter. This is another opportunity to play both sides of the halftime, full-time prop, and also the Nuggets prop as insurance. Nuggets prop as insurance. I couldn't disagree with that, Douglas. I think that makes a lot of sense. Real Stoney liking Bam under 20.5 points, Butler under 23.5 points, Rozier under 5.5 assists, Jokic over 6.5 assists. At plus 415. He says it was at plus 474 about 30 minutes ago. Bond says Denver full game for me, but I'll wait till I can get them live for a bit of a better number. Denver seems to be ramping up since the All-Star break. I agree there. Markel, what's going on, my brother? Appreciate you for tapping in. He says Jokic triple-double. What's up to my guy Sid? And Sid also said he took Joker over 25 points. What's up, L Boogie? Appreciate you for tapping in as well, my brother. Let's keep going. Next game up. And what Tariq just said? He said he took Heat first half on the spread. So Heat to kind of keep it close earlier. We'll see how it goes, man. Like I said, not anything that I have in my pocket. Next game up, we got the Charlotte. Man, this is a game. I'm not going to talk about this game too much if I'm being honest with you guys. I'll read the injury. Well, I'm not even going to read the injury report because it's too long. But the Charlotte Hornets, second leg of a back-to-back, of course. No. The Memphis Grizzlies, second leg of a back-to-back. They did beat the Washington Wizards yesterday. You got a super long injury report for the Memphis Grizzlies, as always. It looks like Jared Jackson Jr., game time decision, very unlikely to play. Desmond Bane also going to come back, but he's not going to come back in this game. He is listed as doubtful. I saw him get upgraded to doubtful. Same thing with Lamar Stevens and Scottie Pippen Jr. All these guys are tossed up to play. Santi Aldama, same thing. No idea what's going to happen in this game. No idea, man. I honestly don't even have a ton of notes or, I didn't even really want to cap it. On the opposite side, Steph Curry remains out. Caleb Martin also – no, Cody Martin. I'm sorry. Cody Martin also very unlikely to play. Trey Mann has been out. He's a toss up to play. I have no idea what's going to happen. I wouldn't take points or lay points in this game. And I also wouldn't touch the total just because it's dropped a tad bit. And both of these teams are extremely slow in pace. They also are bottom 5 in pretty much every offensive statistical category as well. So yeah, nothing for me in this game at all. If you're betting this game, though, I do wish you a ton of luck because I have no idea how you're going, especially without even knowing who's going to play. Like sometimes I think it's value in some of these games, but we're getting to the point in the season now where there isn't a lot of value, in my opinion, in games like this. These teams are, Charlotte pretty much ranks bottom 5 in every offensive statistical category since the All-Star break, and Memphis does as well. They're 29th in offensive and point score per 100 possessions, effective field goal percentage as well, 30th in turnover rate, turn the ball over at a really high rate. This is not a game that I'm interested in playing at all. Best of luck if you guys are going to play it. I can't get there. I didn't even want to go through the analytics and match the teams up on paper at all. Let's see. Sid says, hell nah to the Hornets and Chris. Let's see. Tariq says, come on, Chris, let's pass this game. I'm with you there. El Boogie likes Providence and Colgate, money line, and Penn State. He says plus 101. SoCal going back says Miami come out strong and look to play live money line on Denver. I could definitely see that as well. Ty says pass this game, man. I'm with y'all there. Let's see. Stoney says it's a very accurate line given the situation. Miami will play Denver like Miami's the only one fighting for the number 1 seed. I'm expecting a close one, but it's a prop game for me personally. Loving the Heat unders. Okay. Gene likes Nick Richards on the for a double-double. What up to my guy Fred in the chat? He says he felt hard with Milwaukee last night. You and me both, my brother. You and me both. Tyler says won't bet it, but only Charlotte money line if anything. Vaughn also likes Nick Richards. He says rebounds for me, and that's about it for this game. Kenneth says call the number, call the 1-800-GAMBLER number. Douglas says the same thing. If you want to bet this game, I'm with it, man. Let's get it off the screen. It's actually been up there for too long already. Let's keep going. We got a ton of more games with better value on the board, in my opinion. So next game up, conflicted on this one as well, man. We got the Cleveland Cavalier team that'll be in New Orleans. They're getting 7 points. I think this line's actually come down to 6 now, right? And I do think Donovan Mitchell's going to play. He did go through shoot-arounds. Actually down to 5.5. The total has gone up to 217.5. And I would agree with the movement there if Donovan Mitchell is going to play. It's going to make that Cleveland Cavalier offense a lot better, man. But they still will be without. It's going to be no Strus. It's going to be no Evan Mobley. It's going to be no Dean Wade. And I still think that that's too much for this Cleveland team. I know that they are a scrappy team. They can keep games close, but I'm not into trusting Gorgeous Niang. That's just not something that I'm, want to put my money on. I know you'll get Donovan Mitchell back. He could be a tad bit rusty. He's missed about the last 5 games for Cleveland. Pelicans not in the greatest spot. It'll be the first game back home after 3 straight road games. They have won and covered 4 in a row, depending on where you got the number in that Philly game. And they've been winning by margin as well. But I just don't like. I'm more of a spot better rather than a trend better. And the trend says that the Pelicans continue to cash. We just cashed with them in the first half. They've been the best defensive team over the last 5 games. They have the highest net rating in the last 5 games as well. And we know that they do their damage in the first half. Second best ATS team in the first half on the season. Something I just don't. I don't really feel too confident in this one. I feel like eventually it's going to be a letdown spot. Could they cash it? Absolutely. But it's not anything that I necessarily wanted to play. All the numbers, of course, say that, they should get the job done. I'll tell you guys what I do want to play. And I was looking for the number earlier. It hadn't dropped yet. Cleveland has been one of the worst 3-point defenses in the league as of recently. And I don't think that it's going to change in this game. I really want to get there with Trey Murphy threes. That's what I like the most in this spot. Looking at the Pelicans offense real quick. Let me pull it up. Looking at the Pelicans offense, they've absolutely been balling. So we know the strength of the Cleveland Cavaliers defense is their ability to protect the rim. They're 16th in rim frequency since the All-Star break, and they're 11th in rim accuracy. So they're doing a pretty good job of stopping teams at the rim. What they're not doing a good job of is defending the 3-point line. They actually rank 28th in opponent above the break 3 accuracy, allowing teams to shoot about 40% from the 3-point line, and they're 27th overall in opponent 3-point defense, allowing teams to shoot about 39% from the 3-point line since the All-Star break, which is about a 10-game sample. So that's what I like the most. Looking at Trey Murphy specifically, I don't think anybody's really talking about it, but Trey Murphy is averaging 6 made threes since the All-Star break. That was something that, I had been tracking it, and I gave it out on the Propcast a couple of days ago, but I don't think I was realizing that he had been hitting that many. Like, he hit 6 threes and shot 13 against Atlanta. He only hit 2 for 7 against Philly, but he hit 10 against Toronto, and he hit 6 against the Pacers. So over the last 4 games, he's averaging 6 makes on 11.5 attempts, shooting 52% from the 3-point line. I just gave you guys the numbers, and a lot of his threes are coming above the break in corner 3, which is where Cleveland struggles. So I'm looking for Trey Murphy threes. When I checked it earlier, like I said, the number wasn't out yet. I think you could also pivot towards CJ McCollum to go over his 3-point prop. Number was 2.5, juiced a little bit at like -130, -135. But like I said, I think that's the way you attack. Jared Allen is not really going for it down low in the paint. And I think if they have a disadvantage, it is that the Pelicans can really spread you out on the offensive end. So I'll be looking at Trey Murphy, CJ McCollum to go over their 3-point prop. Just really wanting to fade Cleveland defense on the road and against the 3 specifically. So that's my top play in this game versus taking a side. Pelicans first half, I don't think it's a bad play, but not anything that I play. And I will be watching this game because I think we could get there, maybe get something live in this one. Trey Murphy is at 2.5, -165. Looks like it's the best number. So I go 3.5. I do think he'll make 4 3-pointers in this game because I'm not laying -165. That's gross. But that would be the top way that I would play this one. Let's go to the chat real quick, see what you guys are thinking here. Ty says, anyone liking Golden State +7? We'll get there. I want Garland buckets, but no money moves. But no money moves. Just watching. Kenneth says he caught the Cavs at +7.5 last night. Chad says Pels first half ain't broke, don't fix it. Seeing how low it gets first, I can understand that. Yeah, I mean, this game is priced like it's a a close game, and if the Pelicans really wanted to, they could. I think they could blow this version of the Cavaliers team out. I'm just not sure. Like eventually, you're gonna drop the ball as a team that's just been covering and winning so many big spreads in a row. If you guys remember, same thing kind of happened with Cleveland. We had won like 4 or 5 bets over a course of 2 weeks with Cleveland, just kind of cashing on them almost in every single spot. And granted they got hurt, but before they got hurt, they had lost a couple games and not covered right before the All-Star break, like against the Bulls. They didn't really have any injuries in those games. So I just kind of feel like eventually the spot's gonna catch up with them. Plus, you got the Cavs coming off, a loss against the Phoenix Suns, and I think they've lost 2 of their last 3 games as well. Yeah, they lost to the Nets. Let's see. While I waiting on the Pels first half cash, I've been riding and cashing. Okay. Keelan likes Memphis on the money line. Best of luck with that. Tariq says Pels first half until it stops cashing. Okay. Says I saw Trey Sunday and he went stupid. Talking about Trey Murphy. CJ's about due for his back-to-back threes. Made metrics to cash. I agree. Kenneth also says Trey been shooting. Half my bankroll on the Nuggets, other half on the Kings. We'll see how it goes, Tyler. He said half and half. Yeah, that's half and half is crazy. I wouldn't put. I don't know, man. Unless you only got 2 units in your bankroll, I would never put half my bankroll any play. I don't like anything that much. All right, so let's get over here to the other game, man. A lot of people, got one thoughts and opinions on this game. So Golden State getting 7 points on the road as road dogs in Dallas today. Of course, no Steph Curry won't be a part of this game. For Dallas, I think they do have a pretty clean injury report in this one. And this is a difficult game, man. I really wanted to get there with Golden State. I think I've always said this, but I'm not into laying points with the Dallas Mavericks. They don't specifically play too well as a home favorite, even though they are 8-4 straight up and against the spread as home favorites in conference games. But they do have a big game tomorrow, and they got to go on the road to OKC as well. Golden State has actually been this has been their road throughout the season. They're 9-1 against the spread in their last 10 road games. Granted, they haven't been playing necessarily that great, but they've been much better on the road than they have been at home. And I think this line moving down from 7.5 to 7 is the right number. You probably could still shop around and catch that hook at 7.5. Definitely agree with the total coming down. I actually gave this one out at 230. I think it was 234.5, 233.5. So that's the way I went in this one. I really want to get there with Golden State, though. I think, looking at Dallas first leg, like I said, kind of first leg of a back-to-back. Looking at Golden State, outside of them being 9-1 against the spread in their last 10 games on the road, they're also 7-2 against the spread as road dogs in conference games. So Golden State has played well. I think that they'll have to do it with their defense in this game, because I don't think that their offense is going to be as great. And we remember when Golden State when they really started playing well this season, it was because their defense played well. And I'm not saying that this Dallas offense is going to look anything like the San Antonio Spurs that they just beat. But I do think that the Golden State is going to have to slow the pace down in this one and, really rely on their defense in this one to keep the game close. You're not going to be able to outscore the Dallas Mavericks in a game like this. And the recent teams that have actually beat Dallas have actually also, been able to play some defense. Also, Dallas has been playing a little bit better defense. Dallas just held, that Miami team to like 108 points. They smoked the Bulls. Defense played really, really well in that spot also. And they didn't do too bad against Detroit either. Looking at Dallas, they're also 9-3 to the under in their last 12 games at home. So they've just been going under in these games. The market just put the total just a tad bit too high for Dallas game because of the star power. Luka, Kyrie. But I think, Golden State, their offense kind of struggled as well. 23rd in effective in efficiency over the last few games without Steph. So that's another reason why I kind of like the under, because I think, Dallas shouldn't have to play too much well, they will have to play hard defensively, but I think that they can against Golden State defense without Steph Curry. This reminds me a lot of, San Antonio and Houston under last night, which I didn't play, but I did say I like that game to go under without Sengun. I think Steph means, maybe even more than Sengun means to that offense, and we saw that game go under as well. Like I said, Golden State 9-2 to the under in their last 11. 9-1 to the under in their last 10 road games as well. So give me the under. I can't remember if it was 233.5 or 234.5. It's only moved just a tad bit. I think this is more like a 112 to like 108, 112 to 105 type game, in my opinion. I don't think it's going to be extremely high scoring at all. So I did play the under here. Let's see. And I do like the Warriors. If I had to play this game, I would be taking the Warriors with the points, but haven't quite gotten there yet, man. I do have it sitting in the bet slip. DB says I got Memphis money line too. What else y'all saying in the chat? Tariq says she likes Warriors plus 7.5. Jean likes Pozinski threes, and Draymond 2 threes as well. Daniel says I have a query I've been playing that says Dallas gets clapped by OKC tomorrow, first half and full game, which is first half, which is home favorites off a previous home favorite loss, have more rest than their opponent, 31-5 on the money line, 25-11 against the spread if Dallas wins. This query is 17-1 on the money line and 13-5 against the spread. That I was already looking into that spot as well tomorrow, Daniel. They got a huge revenge spot tomorrow after getting smoked against the Dallas Mavericks in their last game, and it's a you'll get their attention after losing to Tyrese Halliburton and the boys yesterday. So yeah, so it sets up for a really good spot, especially with Dallas having to travel too. So, and it's not a far travel, but Dallas will have to travel. OKC got a day to practice and rest today. After getting smoked, they're probably gonna correct some things. You probably get Jalen Williams back, so this makes a lot of sense. I saw somebody. Oh, Chad said OKC -7 tomorrow, 7.5. That line hasn't come out yet, is it? Nah, that line ain't out. There you tripping. I'm over here looking too. Kenneth says I hope it's a tight game and smash OKC at open. I would agree there. Sid said that's a lot of points in a look ahead situation. I pick Warriors plus 7.5. I agree. She says if Dallas loses this game, they might as well hang it up and get ready for next season. I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's that bad. Luka triple-double is the best value, says. LA Mackin likes Dallas team total over 120.5. I disagree there. Chad says Clippers is the spot tomorrow. Bulls on the second leg of a back-to-back. They will be tomorrow. That could be it, Chad. That could be it. But Clippers also going to be in a look-ahead spot tomorrow with the Pelicans on deck because they're on the first leg of a back-to-back. See how it goes. So-called ball nerd says he likes Chris Paul over his 11.5 assists. John says you like Daniel Gafford in this spot. Daniel Gafford's in an interesting situation, John. I actually looked into this because Daniel Gafford continues to cash. He's been cashing left and right on his points. He's literally like taking that job away. Looking deeper into it earlier, he's taking that job away from Derek Lively. The reason why I don't like it is because Golden State has been a really, really good defense against the rim. Golden State actually been giving up a ton of 3-pointers, specifically from the long from like above the break, like top of the key type 3-pointers. Golden State's actually number one since the All-Star break in rim frequency. A lot of teams aren't trying them at the rim at all. And they're 21st in rim frequency, rim accuracy. So they are like when teams do try them, they are scoring. They're scoring, pretty consistently. But Golden State, for whatever reason, they've been really limiting teams from scoring in the paint. So take that for whatever it's worth. But I was looking into this one earlier as well. Let's see. Luka 7 straight triple doubles plus 130. Go Young DJ says. SoCal says sprinkle on Draymond triple double. Chad, you see a 7.5 already for OKC tomorrow? Yeah, okay. My fault. You know what? I'm only looking at the live eye screen, so I don't see it. It doesn't have FanDuel on here, so that's my apologies. She says Draymond always goes under in these type of games. 7.5 on ESPN bet as well. Okay. Yeah, this will be 8.5 tomorrow. I really do believe that. Appreciate you for tapping in, Kenneth. Best of luck tonight, man. Enjoy your evening. Real Stoney says Chris Paul 2 threes. I kind of love it. Kyrie under points due to him fasting. Ramadan Kyrie I thought was a thing last year, man. Rama under, Real Stoney says. I thought Kyrie kind of hooped last year when he was doing Ramadan. I could be tripping. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I need to go back into it and look a little deeper. I didn't play Kyrie points though. All right, next game up, Atlanta Hawks and Portland Trailblazers. We'll be here for about 35 more seconds. No idea what to do with this game. I'll tell you guys what I did look at. So you get a Portland team, first leg of a back-to-back. Portland will get smoked tomorrow. I know you guys are talking about OKC. I like the Knicks a lot tomorrow. So when that line comes out, I'll probably jump on the Knicks at open because Portland will be in a very, very unfavorable situation tomorrow. I hope this game goes to triple overtime. I'll take the Knicks minus 9.5 tomorrow against the Portland Trailblazers. But yeah, this is this game versus the Hawks today. No idea what's gonna happen in this game. I think Atlanta is the better team. I'm not betting on Atlanta with a guy in the starting lineup that I don't know his name. Also, Sadiq Bey, and I follow the NBA pretty closely. Sadiq Bey is also listed. I mean, he tore his MCL. I think it was an MCL, ACL. He's done for the season. So they're getting really, really thin. Jalen Johnson, I don't think has been ruled out, but Portland could get a couple offensive guys back. Specifically, I'm thinking about what's his name? Jeremy Grant. He's listed as questionable in this game. Scoot Henderson, of course, is back. You got Anthony Simons, Chris Murray. And you got Aiden as well. So Bogdanovich being listed as questionable really, really throws a wrench into things, in my opinion, if you like Atlanta, because I'm not sure where the rest of their scoring is going to come from. I mean, you're already down Trae Young, Noah Yeko Okongwu. If Bogdanovich plays, he got added to the injury report late because he was listed as questionable with an illness. But if he plays, I like his threes in this spot. Kind of similar to what I was just telling you guys about, telling you guys about the Cleveland Cavalier defense. This Portland Trailblazers defense is kind of goes in the same category. Portland is they were number 3 in defensive opponent accuracy before the All-Star break, allowing teams to shoot just 35%. But since the All-Star break, it's been about 10 games. They're actually second to last, allowing teams to shoot 40% from the 3-point line. And Bogdanovich is that guy. Also, corner 3, same thing. They're last, even worse than the Utah Jazz. And I told you guys yesterday, if you were listening, that somebody was on Boston was going to hit 5 or 6 threes. It happened to be Derek White. I didn't put a dollar on it, but that's the spot here. Again, I think as well. Bogdanovich over his threes. I think the number's 3.5. Like I said, he's shooting a ton of them. I think he hit 7 in this last game, and that's the spot that Portland has really struggled to guard. They are doing a good job in frequency, but once you shoot them, they go in. So corner 3 above the break 3, they're doing pretty bad at both. So I like Bogdanovich. I think you got to play on you got to play on DeJounte Murray because he's really their only offensive guy. But no way I'm taking a side in this one. Best of luck if you guys are. Let's go back to the chat. Don't they get a certain time to eat though? They do. Jade the noob. I think they eat like sundown to sun up, but they stop eating. I'm not even gonna try to guess, but I know they don't eat when the sun's up. I don't think so. It's a pretty long fast, which actually is not that bad, honestly. If you guys I fast on a daily basis myself, and I'm not Muslim. I don't fast for religious reasons. I just fast on a daily basis for about 16 to 18 hours myself. I only eat within about a 6 or 7 hour window myself, and it's really not that bad. Even when I'm working out, like it's not that bad. Kyrie probably exerting a little more energy than I am, but it's really not that bad. And his body's probably used to it by now, so I don't think it plays that much of a factor. Is what I'm thinking. Rich T says he might sprinkle on Luka triple-double with Draymond and Jokic. Vaughn says Draymond Green threes is 130. He's been hitting at least one in each game. I would agree there. Markel says, man, I thought Knicks was going to be 11.5 tomorrow. I guess not. Laugh out loud is 8.5. It's 8.5 already? See, this is why I got to get off the show. I'm taking Knicks 8.5 tomorrow. I will be on that. Let's see. I guess DeJounte Murray points, rebounds, and assists. I agree there. Estai says, Chris, you and I know you. He says, Chris, you and I know you know how to fast. It won't affect your performance. Yeah, I don't think it affects the performance at all, man. Kyrie he's a mind over matter type guy anyway. So, a lot of people think they can't do stuff because it's all mental. Kyrie, I'm pretty sure thinks he can go out and score 30 without eating because he has done it before. So, let's see. Rich T says drop the whole house on Portland. SoCal says Anthony Simons threes, 4 and 5 for him. You mentioned Trae against them the other night. Simons been shooting threes, and Atlanta's been generous to dudes threes. Okay. Sid likes Bogdanovich as well. Sunrise to sundown. That's what it is. I thought that's what it was, Mo. I thought that's what it was. Sid says he also does intermittent fasting. Help me a lot. Yeah, I agree. I've been doing intermittent fasting for about 3 years. maybe longer. Now I think about it. Just water for me from 7 a.m. Well, from about 7 p.m. to about 1 p.m. the next day is what I typically do. That's that. So he also fast. Okay, we got a lot of people in the chat that fast, man. Shout out to all my fasters out there. All right, let's keep it pushing. Next game up. We got, and we should be almost done. We got Kings and Lakers. Last game on the board, right? Yeah, last game on the board. So Lakers are now, this line actually moved. And it's down to, it went up to 3. It's still at 3 at some books. Down to 2.5 at other books. Lakers actually opened as 1-point favorites. And it's a Lakers spot. Triple revenge, of course. Sacramento on the second leg of a back-to-back. And a couple things that I looked at in this spot, and granted, the Lakers have been non-trustworthy in these spots where you think you could trust them the most. But I think it's a Lakers spot. Now, granted, the Lakers are just 12-19 straight up and 13-18 against the spread on the road. However, they are 5-3 straight up, 6-2 against the spread when they're in a revenge game on the road this season. So they typically play well in that spot. It's also the big divisional game. Sacramento on the second leg of a back-to-back, just 5-5 straight up, 3-7 against the spread when they're unrested. Also just 2-4 straight up and 1-5 against the spread when they're unrested in a conference game. And the Lakers, like I said, triple revenge conference game. They've lost 7 of their last 10 games against the Sacramento Kings. Trend I looked at says that if a team has lost 3 straight games to the same opponent within the same season, and then that 4th game, they're actually road favorites, not just favorites, but they're road favorites. They typically perform pretty well. 136-71 straight up. That's 66%. And if you add that they're a short road favorite of 3 points or less, that trend actually gets a little bit stronger, up to about 70%. So I like this spot for the Lakers here, man. I do think it's a Lakers spot. I haven't played this yet. You definitely want, LeBron to be ruled in, which I think that he will. I think he will be ruled in. And of course, I think this line will go up probably to 3.5. But I chose to be a little bit more conservative in this game. And I went with LeBron. I told you guys I had a prop for you guys. LeBron over his 34.5 points plus assists. This is a number that I gave out when these two teams just played against each other. And, long story short, it's hit 9 straight times against the Kings. We know that the Kings give up the second most points at the rim. LeBron likes to shoot a lot of shots at the rim. He's really been putting his head down, getting to the paint in the restricted area, getting a bunch of buckets there. You also get a Kings team that's, bottom 5. And pretty much all the defensive metrics on the second leg of back-to-back games, I think they played their hearts out last night. So I like LeBron, man. I think he's been the guy for the Lakers that's been the most consistent. You also get him off 2 days rest. So give me LeBron over his 33.5 points plus assists here in this spot, wherever you can find the best of the number. So that's what I decided to play over, playing the side at all. But like I said, I do think it's a Lakers spot, but not anything that I have in my pocket quite yet. And I see Vaughn talking about Fox in the chat. He does own the Lakers. This dude has absolutely killed the Lakers. He's also somebody that, continues to go head-to-head with Bron in these games. He says Fox points last 5 games. He has 31, 34, 37, 28, and 44. He said, I don't know why he go at the Lakers like that, but I'm taking his points, competitive game, so he should see full slate of minutes. I think he go like that because the Lakers chose to draft, we've been talking about this for a while, but the Lakers chose to draft Lonzo over him. So it's always been that, that matchup. Then you got Malik Monk, of course, in there as well, always playing well against his old team. So yeah, Gene likes Rui Hachimura over his threes. Estat likes the Lakers. Real Stoney says Lakers first quarter and second quarter covers. SoCal Ball Nerd says Lakers got to get them tonight. A little more of a heart bet, but give me that Lakers money line. He says he hammered it too. Vaughn likes LBJ. Other Vaughn likes LBJ over 41.5 points, rebounds, and assists. This is kind of consistent with what I said. He says he's over in 10 of the last 15 meetings versus the Lakers, versus the Kings as a Laker, and over in his last 7 straight. That's very consistent with what I said. That Vaughn also likes Fox over 28.5 points. He says he's over in 8 in his last 11 meetings versus the Lakers. And TJ says, I'm leaning towards the under in this game. I think the Lakers have to win by defense. I mean, the Lakers have been winning. When they have won, it's been with their defense. Their lineup just, to me, why I can't take it, TJ, is because the Lakers have a defensive rating of I think it's a 121 when they have Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell on the floor at the same time. And in my opinion, you can't win with that lineup because Austin Reeves, like from a guard position, you can't guard anybody. So you need one of those guys in, whether it's D'Angelo. In my opinion, you need D'Angelo Russell in with Jared Vanderbilt, who of course is not available to play, or you need Austin Reeves in with Jared Vanderbilt. But you got to get another defender in there because defenses can really pick on you when you have both of those guys that can't guard anybody. They're traffic cones out there. And I love both of them offensively, but they can't guard anybody. We saw D'Angelo Russell get absolutely exposed in the last game, in the playoffs last year. And the only reason the Lakers beat the Bucks is because they literally could not stop D'Angelo Russell. It took D'Angelo Russell to score 46 points and have like 9 assists for them to win the game. They didn't win the game with their defense, though. So until Darvin Ham fixed that, I think Cam Reddish is listed as questionable. Maybe having him in. Maybe you see some of the inconsistencies from the Sacramento Kings team because they have been inconsistent. We know that. Guys like Kevin Huerter. I know I didn't mention it, but Keegan Murray also on the injury report listed as questionable with an ankle injury. Harrison Barnes. A lot of those guys that's not named Sabonis, Malik Monk, and De'Aaron Fox can come up missing. So it'd only be Lakers for me in this game. Let's see. Fred likes Malik Monk points and assists over. And Douglas says Sabonis over 2.5 turnovers. Has went over 4 out of the last 5 games. And Anthony Davis has been playing very well defensively. Okay. Go Young DJ he says Lakers have lost every game to them so far, but the Kings are on the back-to-back. And even though the Kings were up by 30 last night, the starters played half of the fourth quarter. Yeah, they're a young team, but young teams don't necessarily translate to wins and losses. The Spurs are a young team, and they're also 2-9 on the second leg of a back-to-back. Same thing with the Pacers, another young team that also does not play well on the second leg of a back-to-back. And the Kings, another young team that does not play well on the second leg of a back-to-back. So, like I said, this Lakers are nothing. I'm right there with you. Jada Noob says, man, facts. I feel like Kyrie 24.5 points is a great number. Gotta drop a unit. Okay. Kyrie has major matchup advantages in the mid-range as well. I didn't want to go too deep into that, but Golden State really, their mid-range defense has been really, really bad recently. So I was actually looking at Kyrie points as well, but I didn't quite get there. Matthew says Kings had to beat the Bucks last night. They had like 17 straight losses to them. Taking the Lake show tonight. It makes a lot of sense, man. I know a lot of people going to be on the Lakers. Go Young DJ says, last game, Kings attacked AD all game, and it paid off. Yeah. It's a different, little tad bit different spot. And Real Stoney says, kind of loving Sabonis under his rebounds line, up to 14.5 and up to 15.5. Okay. Lakers one of the worst rebounding teams in the league, Real Stoney, but makes a lot of sense, man. It does. I guess it makes a lot of sense, but ain't nothing I can put my money on. The Lakers, outside of Anthony Davis, I feel like they're allergic to getting rebounds. If you go through and look at the numbers, the Lakers are one of the worst rebounding teams in the league. But like I said, I do lean Lakers here, man. I do lean Lakers. I think this number goes up probably just a tad bit. You should probably see all threes, and those 2.5s are gone. Maybe even some 3.5s if LeBron James rolled in. I think if you like the Lakers, you take them on the money line. That's just my personal opinion. All right, so let's get into that's the last game on the board. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. Been on here for an hour. Getting through these games. So top looks for me, for people who join late. This is what I bet. I bet Orlando minus 6.5. I bet Golden State under the 234.5. This total for Detroit and Toronto, I do like the over. I'm not sure if it's going to be first half or full game. If you know anything about Detroit, man, this team can really struggle to score in the second half of games. So I actually consider the first half over because I can see them, potentially having a letdown in the second half and not being able to score. But Detroit typically scores a ton of points in the first quarter and in the first half. That's when they typically play their best basketball. Then you see them with like 23 points in the third quarter and 17 in the fourth or something like that, something crazy. And Toronto defensively should not be able to stop them, but it's a tad bit scary, man. I do like the over in that game, though. You guys see it on the screen here. In New Orleans minus the 1.5. I'm sorry, New Orleans first half minus the 3.5. I'm probably not going to get there, but that was something I considered as well. Indy and Chicago, I had under 230 on the screen. It's actually down in 229.5 now. So lost some juice there, and I didn't play this, but I think that's a really sharp look. And then my two favorite player props of the day, ones that I locked in, I got to give these out to the members. Cade Cunningham over 22.5 points, and LeBron James over his 34.5 points and assists. in this one. I do think Trey Murphy is in line for a big game. I do think Bogdanovich, if he plays with that illness, is also in for a really big game. So those are the top looks for me, man. Resources, I always like to share them because people are always asking me, yo, Chris, what you use to cap the game? They're all listed here. You guys check these out if you need them. But I won't stay there for too long because I'm going to get ready to get up out of here, man. If you like the show, do me a favor. Hit the like button for me. Smash that button. Let your friends know. Let your coworkers know. Bet responsibly tonight, man. Best of luck to you guys on all your action. Potentially might do a night show. I think it's a 6-game slate tomorrow. Where we got a real good one with Boston and Phoenix. And it's a couple other good games as well. But probably going to have to get ahead of the lines, in my opinion, if you want to get some value on some of these games, especially if we know who on the injury report. So I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. Best of luck tonight. Bet responsibly. Enjoy the games, everybody. And I'm out.